Vince Colonnese here, and I'm coming up at 11 after Kevin Keatsman on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Well, we are so excited to announce our America 250 celebration here on KCMO Talk Radio, where we are going to have the entire KCMO Talk Radio lineup in Kansas City for a special event on Wednesday, September 16th. We will be at Boulevard Brewing right here in Kansas City. Myself, Kevin Keatsman, our, of course, new midday host, Vince Colonnese, our new nighttime host, McGraw-Milhaven, and yes, our afternoon anchor, Guy Benson, joining us in Kansas City in a couple of months. Guy, good morning. Great to have you here, and can't wait to have you back in Kansas City, my friend.
Hey, Pete. Yeah, we're so excited, and at least my understanding is, for some reason, Cookie is invited, my producer, Christine, and so I think she's planning on tagging along as well. I did mention that it was at a brewery, so she was like, well, then yes. So we're very, very excited. I know that we've got a year-long celebration that's been rolling now for months and will continue rolling past the 4th. And to join literally like the whole lineup start to finish is so fun. Hang out with your audience. We had an opportunity to meet so many people. When was that, last year?
Yep.
In Kansas City, which was such a great, fun event. And this will be even bigger, even better. And we're just so delighted and honored that you've included us.
Well, we can't wait to have you there. And yes, Christine did behave herself enough last year to get the invite back. So that's a testament to her and to you for obviously keeping her in check, which I know is a full-time job in and of itself. And we're going to get you out to the Chiefs opener, Monday Night Football, a couple of nights prior, of course, is the opening of the season against the Broncos. And I said to you, hey, do you want to come in a little early and get out for the Chiefs game on Monday night? And you and Cookie were both all in right out of the gate. So this will be your first trip to Arrowhead Stadium as well, right?
Oh, yeah. I've never been there. Of course, I've seen it a million times on TV. So many huge games there. So much hype about the atmosphere and the sound in that place. So when that was in the mix as a very generous offer, it's like, how can we say no to that? And my in-laws live in Denver. They're big Broncos fans. I will not be rooting for the Broncos. I'll be rooting for the home team as the host, as the guest, rather, of you guys as my kind hosts. I'm just excited to see, hopefully, a really good game and to take in the sights and sounds of Arrowhead. And maybe Christine will actually see some decent football for once, because, of course, she's a Jets fan.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, she'll learn what actual real football is like when you're not a suffering Jets fan. So that's great. Yeah. That's great. Well, it's going to be a great time. The whole lineup will be there, as we just noted. For you, when you look at this America 250 that's really become this year-long, summer-long at the very least celebration, we're seeing this play out to me with some of these World Cup games as well. These folks from other countries are coming here and being like, wow, Buc-ee's is awesome. I love Waffle House. Like, I love America. How much does that tie in to, I think, some appreciation that we may lose in the day-to-day chaos of what we do? But I think that these folks from other countries are really giving us a reason to lean in to what America 250 is supposed to be about. How about you, Guy?
Yeah, no, I think it's very real. And it's funny, sometimes you need an outsider, or in this case, thousands and thousands of them, to remind you exactly what you've got and to reinforce, I think, American exceptionalism, gratitude, and those types of things. And, you know, I didn't necessarily have it on the old, 250th bingo card that one of the most patriotic things that would happen all year would be a bunch of foreigners coming here for soccer, doing the trick, and yet that seems to be exactly what's happening. And it comes at, I think, a perfect time. I think it's absolutely flooding, and this is key, Pete, as you know. It is flooding social media. And so you are getting young people, whether they were seeking it out or not, it's just so viral, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or really any of these platforms, X and Twitter and all that, people are getting hit with all these great videos of people experiencing not just America, not just the food, not just, certain fun experiences, but the American people. I think it's the American people who are kind of winning this for us. It's us. And some of the foreigners have been making their comments in these, viral posts where, of course, they'll rave about the dinner they had and the brisket they had here or whatever, and the drinking Scots in Boston and the KU marching band playing the Algerian national anthem at their training grounds. I mean, there's been one after another, exuberant Japan fans who speak very little English, nevertheless giving interviews because they're so excited. It's all of that. But what we've heard from a number of these overseas guests is almost a sense of that they want to apologize to us for the portrayal of us in their countries, in the global media, that they have believed and that they are now realizing day after day is simply propaganda and not true. And what has warmed my heart the most is the tributes to the American people about how welcoming and kind and generous we are. And we know that to be true, but we sometimes lose sight of it because there's so much anger over politics and polarization and division. And I just think having people from elsewhere coming here and being like, wait a second, this place is amazing. And it's amazing for all the reasons, but primarily, first and foremost, it's because of the people. I think it's kind of this patriotic shot in the arm that we absolutely needed. And the last thing I'll say is, I mean, you're getting these rave reviews of the welcoming nature of Americans from every single corner of the country, right? We've seen clips of people in Kansas, as I just mentioned, down in Texas, up in Boston. And I mean, I'm actually in New England right now. I love our friends in New England. It is not known to be the friendliest region of the country, and yet you had, the Tartan Army from Scotland blown away by how the people of Boston treated them. People of Seattle, down the West Coast in California. I saw a Brit get this really warm welcome at a firehouse in Alabama. I mean, it is every corner. New York City, of course. Every corner of the country is throwing open its arms and saying, welcome to America. We love that you're here. Have a great time. How can we help? And you're getting those little dispatches and tributes and testimonies from all around the country, which then cuts through any of these partisan or other divides that we sometimes obsess over in this country. It's like we're all throwing open the doors and rolling out the red carpet and the welcome mat in every type of community in the country to every type of visitor for the World Cup. And what a perfectly timed thing, Pete, to have this leading up to the 4th of July, and this thing where hopefully some of us, I don't think many people in this audience, but I think a lot of Americans needed to feel better about America and Americans, and we're getting sort of sustenance and the source of that from these World Cup fans, and the fact that it is just, unavoidable all over social media is hopefully bleeding down into the hearts and minds of young people who I think have been heavily propagandized in the other direction for much of their lives.
That is so true. Guy Benson's here on KCMO 2 to 5 in the afternoons. Of course, he's coming to Kansas City. The entire lineup will be here at Boulevard. We'll be there on Wednesday, September 16th. We will tell you how you can buy your tickets coming up here in just a few minutes. And Guy, you spent a lot of time overseas, of course, just traveling and whatnot, speaking. Is it the media in some of these other countries that drive some of this anti-America propaganda, or is it just a cultural thing?
I think it's both, but I think it is driven by the media, right? That comes from somewhere. And there is this, some people are just going to want to put their nose up at Americans and that kind of thing. But there is this, our press is bad, right? Our news media has all sorts of problems. The way that the foreign media portrays the United States is wild. That's why I think you're seeing so many of these fans basically confessing. They're like, listen, I was a little nervous to come. I was worried that, I just get, shot in one of the daily mass shootings at every single place in the country, and that there'd be, snarling ICE agents everywhere being ordered by right-wing people to round me up and throw me out of the country, and there'd be all these race riots everywhere. This is what many foreigners think of us. And then, which is funny, because then they also have like this idealized Hollywood version as well, which they know our culture and they know all those things. And that's the other thing that's been a recurring theme, is people realizing they've been lied to by the media, that the portrayals of us have been like wildly off and unfair. But then they will also, like, almost doubling down on good. It's like a virtuous cycle. They'll realize that all the negativity is vastly overblown, if not completely untrue. Then they will also realize that the cool culture stuff from the movies is true. And they will then experience it. Something as simple as seeing like yellow school buses. They're like losing their minds to see yellow school buses for some reason. They're very excited about that. And then just, I guess, like, you know, the legendary food and friendliness of Americans. Oh, it's not a myth. It is real. So I think it's both of those things cutting through it. And the news media has lost its power over the years because there are all these other ways to disprove what they're saying and to poke holes in their narratives. And that's true here. It's true there as well. And a lot of these other countries are getting this onslaught on social media of their countrymen here having the time of their lives, having a great time, seeing, because remember, it was supposed to be, you know, half-empty stadiums, and it's too expensive because of the greedy Americans and all the ICE agents deporting everyone and Trump and all these things. It's going to be a failure of a World Cup. And then every game is just like, you know, packed to the brim, epic crowds, incredible atmospheres, and so far a great World Cup, not the least of which in terms of reasons being that the USA is 2-0. So I'm a soccer fan every 4 years, and I'm feeling really good about how the team is looking thus far. It'd be really cool for them to put together somehow a deep run this year, and they're off to a hot start. But I think that it's a combination, to answer your question, and having this like foot soldiers of truth just living out their experiences on the ground in our country is echoing back home as well. And then those people will all eventually go back home and talk about the time that they had in America to their friends, to their families. And who knows if this is, you know, a full-blown, you know, historic turning point. I don't want to get too Pollyannish about it, but I think for the moment, I think that this is a PR coup for our country, both internally, because we're affirming how wonderful this place is for ourselves, but foreigners are experiencing at the same time and sort of giving us that enthusiasm and that affirmation back to us at a really critical time. And what's so wonderful about it is this wasn't some big, vast manipulation on our part saying, okay, this place is terrible, but let's all pretend together collectively for a few weeks. That, like, there was no coordination. It's just us being us. It's just America being America and Americans being Americans, and it's working the way that it is, and that's the best part.
All right, Guy, last thing here in the final couple of minutes, and we could go on for 10 minutes on this topic, but you've been very good on trying to dissect and break down where we're at with this U.S.-Iran deal, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. As we start a new week, the vice president is in Switzerland right now. He had a press conference a couple of hours ago. It's probably too early to tell, but as you sit here today, how do you analyze where we're at right now with this deal and what it means going forward?
Well, listen, the Iranians, the regime, they've already been playing their stupid games, right, with the Strait of Hormuz. They have now twice, and I'll probably talk about this on the show today. I've got a column coming out at the Washington Examiner today about this. The Strait of Hormuz, of the things that they have actually agreed to, at least in theory, not just with this deal, but there was also a ceasefire a couple weeks ago where they had agreed to open the strait. And they have not been willing to even fully achieve the one concession that they've made. They haven't done it. They've played games. They've tied it. Oh, well, you know, look, there's Lebanon, so Israel's ruining this whole thing. So they order their terror proxy, Hezbollah, to attack Israel, knowing full well that Israel has to respond. You can't not respond when terrorists attack your country and try to, or in fact succeed in killing your people. And then they're pointing to the reprisal from Israel that they know is inevitable as the excuse to say, oh, well, the U.S. isn't holding up its end of the bargain because the U.S. needs to control Israel, when they're the ones who are calling the shots for Hezbollah in the first place to trigger those attacks. So, I mean, it's so evil and cynical. It's not subtle. It's not like they're hiding the ball very well on this. It's just so obvious what they're doing. And I think the calculation that they're making is that the president is now so far down the path and so invested politically in a deal, especially to try to keep oil prices down and bring them down further, that they can just play the games that they always play sort of in perpetuity, and they'll get away with it. And that is a very, very high risk. I saw one Iranian official, talking smack, talking trash about how they don't believe the American threats about anything. It's like, well, I mean, the Ayatollah is unavailable for comment on that, isn't he? I mean, there's, the top people who used to be your bosses, dude, are all dead. So maybe you should take it seriously. But I think they are rolling the dice and doing what they always do, which is to lie and to cheat and to steal. And they're thinking now that they have the upper hand again, and Trump's going to let them get away with it. And we'll see what happens. I would simply say, and I will make the point in this column and in my monologue today, if they're unwilling to do the bare minimum that they've actually agreed to with the Strait of Hormuz, which is a relatively new issue that they've used for pressure, in what universe does that regime actually, truly, genuinely give up a nuclear program that they've pursued and coveted for decades? I just don't believe it. I don't believe that they will. I don't believe that they want to. And I think that they will play all these manipulative games for as long as they need to and never actually get there. Now, if I'm wrong, and if we can get ironclad stuff, especially on the nuclear side, then, fine. I'm for that. I am just extremely skeptical, and I think that the president needs to know that no deal is better than a bad deal. And there's always the option, rather than making a bad deal, which is totally lopsided toward the Iranians, where they don't even fulfill their side of it, rather than that, simply walking away, declaring military victory based on all the things that we've achieved, in addition to keeping the sanctions in place and using military might to keep the strait open. That combination, without enriching them with billions of dollars, to me, is far superior than waving around a piece of paper that's basically worthless, that is a bad deal. So, we'll see what happens over the coming weeks. But already in the opening days of this, I think they're really, really testing the patience of the president, and that might not end well for them.
Guy Benson will be in Kansas City September 16th. We so appreciate you being here, Guy. We can't wait to have you out in Kansas City here in a couple of months. And we'll be listening today at 2 o'clock, my friend. Thanks so much.
Oh, thanks for having me, and we'll see you in mid-September.
There you go. Guy Benson on KCMO.